situation on that, and they've opened up for international people to come in and fill in that workforce. So, which is why this is where we come in at Oxford. So, for people to get a chance to work as care assistants in the province, they have to first of all be certified. And in the process of certification, they have to undergo a 9-month certificate course with our college, Oxford International College, Halifax. And at the end of the 9 months, they will write a provincial certification exam. Now, that provincial certification exam, once they pass, will enable them to qualify to get guaranteed work opportunity in the province, and as well apply for their PR. Now, it is
Hello,
also
please. Some of us are putting a few things down, so if you can take it a bit time, the timing, it's too fast. Thank you.
Okay, sorry about that. So maybe I'll just recap a little bit. So, like I earlier said, because there's been a shortage of care assistants in that particular province, and the province have opened up for international people to come in and fill in the workforce. And as a result of that, people need to first of all be certified before they can take on this guaranteed employment opportunity, which is where we're coming. So our college in Halifax, Oxford International College, Halifax, prepares students for 9 months for them to be able to write the provincial certification exam, which will in turn qualify them to get placement, employment opportunities in the province. Now, in the course of these 9 months, students will undertake both theoretical and practical aspects of being excellent caregivers. So in the first 7 weeks, students will be in class learning the basics of caregiving. Then they would go out for skills placement for 2 weeks. So they'll have 2 weeks of skills placement. How does this skill placement work? They'll be sent out to various long-term care facilities in the province, where they will be shadowing resident nurses and learning various aspects of communication and interpersonal relations between a care assistant and a patient or a client. So they'll do this skills placement for 2 weeks, and then they'll go back to class for a few weeks, and then before they embark on 3 critical work placement opportunities in 3 various long-term care facilities in the province. So remember, the program is 9 months for 40 weeks. So 40 weeks, 9 months. So 10 weeks out of that 40 weeks, students will be on work placement at 3 various long-term care facilities, where they would learn all the practical aspects of being excellent care assistants in the province. And bear in mind, all this is done in Canada. This is not done outside of Canada. Everything is in Canada, in Halifax and in Nova Scotia. Now, when they are done with this work placement, it is our firm belief that the students will come back from this work placement of opportunities with provincial employment offers. Why do I say this? Because currently in Nova Scotia, as we speak, there are over 2,000 vacancies that are available for care assisting opportunities. There are over 2,000 vacancies, and those vacancies will not be filled up probably in the next 5 years. So there are lots of opportunities opening up by the day, and a lot of these long-term care facilities that we have in the province are currently short-staffed, and they are in dire need of people to work. So because of that, almost everyone that embarks on this program will have guaranteed provincial employment opportunities, which will be ratified at them passing their final provincial exam. Don't forget, they're being prepared for 9 months to write a certification exam. Now, students have 3 attempts at this certification exam. If they fail the first time, they can write it the second time. But if they fail the exam the third time, they have to retake the program for them to be able to get a chance to write the exam again. But most people pass this exam at first and second attempt. Now, once you pass your final provincial certification exam and you get your certification, your employment with the long-term care facilities would now be made permanent. So you have a permanent employment now, which is the standard in Canada. You get 2 years work permit. So the 2 years work permit, at the start of that 2 years work permit, the minute you start working and earning money, also it's important for me to mention as well that care assistants in the province earn between $45,000 to $55,000 a year. So by the time you're done with this program, you're already immediately getting a return on your investment because you have a guaranteed job already, which will be paying you salary on a day-to-day basis. But the biggest part of this whole thing is at the start of that 2 years work permit that you have, you can apply for your permanent resident for 3 reasons. 1, because you're a qualified CCA. 2, you're currently working in the province. And 3, because there's a nominee program in place for this province. And the CCA, the continuing care assistant, is one of the shortage of skilled workforce in that province. Please, everything you hear at all times, do your research and verify as much as possible. Do not take what people tell you at face value, and try as much as possible to always do your research to verify information. So everything that I'm telling you today are all verifiable online. You can check, you can go online, go to the Canadian website, you check under the Nova Scotia nominee list and check all the lists of job opportunities that are available there. You will see that the CCA is one of them. So because of that, because the province has already declared a shortage of skilled workforce in the area of the CCA, you get an automatic provincial nomination to get your permanent residence in the province. Now, again, it's important for me to mention that everything I am talking about here is just for Nova Scotia and Halifax. I am not speaking for the entire Canada. And so some persons don't get me wrong and say, oh, you can get it anywhere. This is not just for anywhere in Canada. This is for Nova Scotia and this is for Halifax. Because we at Oxford, we are on a mission to help the province sort of fill in that particular skilled shortage workforce. So it is what I always refer to as a planned or a controlled migration opportunity, because you are being prepared skill-wise to take on employment opportunity in that particular province. So every guarantee that we are giving you in terms of the job opportunity, in terms of the permanent residence, are for Nova Scotia and Nova Scotia alone. If anyone decides to go to another province, the guarantee is no more that we cannot guarantee everything that we are preaching today. Also, it is also important for us to note as well that this program is actually one of the best routes you have to attaining a PR in Canada. Now, again, I did not say you will get a postgraduate work permit because I know those questions will come up at the end of this. You cannot get a postgraduate work permit with this course because Oxford International College Halifax is a private college. It's a registered private college in Canada. So please let me know if you can still hear me, because I'm seeing some messages saying they can't hear me.
And go on, we can hear you.
All right. Now, because we are a registered private college in Canada, we have a DLI fully registered. You can check that online. We cannot issue students with a postgraduate work permit. But what we have is a direct
Sorry, Mr. Victor, you're muted. You're muted.
So what we have is a direct employment opportunity for students for this program. So there's a direct employment opportunity they will get immediately they finish this course, and then they get their PR.
Can't hear you.
Sorry, can you increase your volume?
The cost of this
Can you increase your volume? Hello, Mr. Victor. Sorry, can you increase your volume? Your voice is slow.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay. As I was saying, the cost of this program is 20,000 Canadian dollars. And when students apply to us, at Oxford, when students apply to us at Oxford through our partners, can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's better.
Go
All
on.
right.
I can hear you, sir.
Yeah, sorry, I needed to put my phone on flight mode too. Lots of calls were coming in. So when students apply to us at Oxford College, by the way, before I go into the admission and application process, the minimum qualification for this course is just having your WIEC C6 in English or NECO 6 in English. There are no IELTS requirements, and we don't need you to have a bachelor's or a master's or anything like that. And we don't even need you to have an experience in care. Reason because we are going to be preparing you for 9 months for you to embark on this opportunity. So it is not something that you need to have a prior experience about. Whether you're in banking, engineering, or law, you can take advantage of this program. Minimum qualification, again, like I said, is just your WIEC. As long as you have a C6 in English in either WIEC or NECO, you are qualified to go on this program. The age bracket for this program is we take as low as 21 years of age and we take as high as 55 years of age. So if you fall within that age bracket, you're qualified to undertake this program. So once you apply to us through our partners, community, trust network, you get a conditional offer in 3 to 5 days. And once you get a conditional offer, the conditional offer will come with you paying an application fee. And also if there are any missing documents, because what you need to apply is just your WIEC, your scratch card, and your international passport. So once you get your conditional offer, you have to pay an application fee of 1,000 Canadian dollars. Now, that application fee would guarantee you a spot to be interviewed by one of our college staffs. Now, the reason why we do these interviews is because we are also trying to control the quality of students that get on this program. Now, remember, care is a very, very communication-based career. It's a communication-based job opportunity. So we do want people that are very articulate, that are efficient in communication, and can represent themselves very well. So the interview will test for proficiency in English. It will test for either prior experience in care or empathy towards care. Now, what do I mean by empathy towards care? I may not have a prior experience in care, but I can have a passion for care. I can have a motivation for care. So students will need to express their motivation for care either through a prior experience that they've had before, or um, maybe caring for a loved one or a family member and all that. And once they're able to express that, it will show that they have actual motivation towards care. The other thing as well we expect from students during our credibility interview is the fact that students will need to show interest in the college, interest in the province, and students will need to declare that they are willing to stay back in Nova Scotia and work. We are not looking for people that will come in, finish this program, and then run off to Manitoba or run off to British Columbia or any other provinces, Calgary, and not stay in Nova Scotia. We're looking for people that are willing to stay in the province and work, because this is a provincial project for us in Oxford. So once you scale through the interview, you get your LOA, and then our partners, Community Trust, will help you with the visa application process, and then you get your visa. Now, for some of us that may worry about the visa processing for Canadian programs, it is important for me to bring to your attention as well that, surprisingly, for me and for everyone in our team, we have experienced a 95% visa success for this program. Normally, I'll come to you to say, oh, don't worry, visa is fine and all that stuff. But the truth is that it is common knowledge that people struggle with visas for Canada from the sub-Saharan African region. It is a very common thing. So there's no way anyone can pretend about that. Whenever Canadian programs come up, the first thing people worry about is, will I get the visa? But I tell you for a fact, we have been amazed. I have personally been impressed that we have seen 95% visa success for this program. We did not expect it to be that high at all. But when I made my research, I discovered the reason for that. Reason being that, one, this is a controlled migration program. Now, a province has declared a shortage of skilled workforce in Canada. And now people are coming, say, I want to fill in, I want to come and, go into care. Now, it is not an open migration plan where just anybody will come in and undertake the job opportunities. It is a migration plan where you are being put through a rigorous preparation, rigorous academic, theoretical and practical preparation before you undertake the employment opportunity. So no government will actually argue with that, because the students that are coming in to undertake these job opportunities are being put through the Canadian system, are being taught the Canadian way of, practicing care and expressing nursing activities to the elderly, the mentally challenged, the sick, and what have you. So because of that controlled migration process, they can't really argue with the process, because obviously they have to get that province shortage of workforce filled up. But at the same time, they need to ensure that the right students are coming in, the right people are coming in to take on this job opportunity, which is why, we have had so much huge visa success for this program. As I'm talking to you in June, one of us, because we have about 5 start dates in a year. We have January, we have April, we have June, we have August, we have September, we have November. And in our June start date, we have about 35 students that have gotten their visas so far, and will be starting in June. Every other ones that get their visas would start in August. So we have experienced this huge success because of the peculiarity of the program that we offer. And that's the biggest challenge with people wanting to go to Canada. I've discovered as well in my recent years and in my recent experiences that Canada is a migration-focused country. And sometimes if you want to apply to Canada, you have to first of all identify the need of a particular province, the need of a particular city, and apply yourself to that need. So that because when these consulars review your visa application, they also take into account, what is lacking in that particular place you're going to. Every province has a nominee list that contains the shortage of skilled workforce that they have. Every province have a very unique set of skills that they require for that province. So if you're an engineer now and you're trying to apply, say, to Nova Scotia, for instance, and Nova Scotia does not have engineering jobs short in their nominee list, it means the chances of you getting the visa is slim, because your intention of going to that particular province, it's found wanting, because there are no profound migration reason for you to go to that province to do engineering. But if you check the nominee list and you discover that, okay, for so and so province, these are certain jobs that are missing. These are certain, they need doctors, they need nurses, they need this, they need that. Okay, how do I do? Okay, should I apply to study? Okay, I want to apply to go study this in that particular province. So when the consular sees it, okay, this person is coming to study nursing and there is a huge shortage of nursing in this particular province, allow the person go. There's a high chance this person might stay back and become one of the nurses for us. So these are the things that go through the mind of the immigration consultant, and these are the ways which they measure, the metrics for actually giving people visas. And that is why in Oxford, our courses are chosen carefully to meet certain needs of certain provinces at certain times. Yeah. So I think this is actually, I've actually summarized every bit of the program for you to understand. So it is left for you now to actually ask questions, or would you want to wait for me to finish and talk about the next program that we have in our Vancouver College before you ask the questions? How would you want us to lay this out?
Thank you once again, Mr. Victor. He's asking if you have any question to ask for this particular CCA program, Continuous Care Assistance Program, Canada, you ask before he go into the Vancouver program for today. Okay, Jeremiah, Johanna, your hand is up. You can unmute yourself and ask your question, please.
Fine, good afternoon. So I think we lost you when you were talking about the cost. So maybe it's due to the network challenge. Can you tell us the cost, maybe in dollars and then in naira, so that we can quantify? So thank you, and over.
Okay. Okay. So the cost of the program for the entire 9 months is 20,000 Canadian dollars, and in US dollars that should be around 15,000 US dollars. I might be wrong, but I know it's within that range. But it's 20,000 Canadian dollars. That should be around 15,000 US dollars, and that covers for the entire 9 months of the program you would undertake. And this is excluding your cost of living expense as well, your accommodation, your feeding, and your subsistence. So for that, you have to take into account another 10 to 12,000 Canadian dollars for, for your own personal expenses and your subsistence as well. Okay, I guess I've answered that question.
Yes, yes. Okay, I think if you can mention that as well in Naira and also in Ghanaian cedi, if you have that with you.
Oh boy. Yeah, in Naira, that should be around 8 to 10 million, depending on how you're paying, either the black market or you're paying through the banks. In Ghana, I think a dollar is around 10 Ghanaian cedis, if I'm not wrong. So that should be that should be over around 100,000 Canadian. 100,000 Ghanaian cedis. I'd be 150,000 Canadian cedis. I think it should be around that range. Yeah. I mean, if you're from Ghana, please correct me if I'm wrong. I don't want to mess up your currency. Yeah, but I think I might not be too far off, anyways. Are there any other questions?
Okay, you can continue with the family Buahe home care is
Yes,
raising.
my question has to do with you made mention that you don't need to join. For instance, I'm speaking on behalf of those who may not have qualification at all.
Yeah.
I know you made mention you should have empathy towards care. So, for instance, if the person doesn't have the WAEC, what other means can they join the program and become a certified caregiver? In school in the WASI level, but they have much experience in caregiving or attending to people in aged elderly care and that have you. So what's the best means?
Right. I mean, having
but
the WASI,
with, let's say, 2 years experience and more.
I mean, yeah, before, but the experience will really count when probably they're undertaking their interviews and they can talk about their experiences. But for them to scale through the academic requirements to undertake the program, the minimum qualification is the WASI. But in the absence of the WASI, if a student doesn't have maybe a good grade on their WASI and they went to a university or a college, they can get a letter of English proficiency from that particular university to say that they were taught in English. So in that case, now you have to use the person's degree certificate to apply. if their WASI is bad. But in the absence of both, then you have to consider them writing IELTS or one of the English exams for them to be able to qualify for the program. Yeah.
Okay. So let me bring in another possible question. So in the absence of WAEC, in Ghana, there is a vocational institute which is regulated by the government, which is NVTI. It is it's a National Vocational Training Institute, where they have certification programs that vocationally empower and certify some of these care workers. Now, having a state certification, and you go back to the state, for instance, you have an NVTI certified and accredited national certificate as a caregiver, and you go to the Accreditation Institute for an English proficiency. Can you attach it to the certificate and use it to apply, plus your experience? I have two ladies on standby who have the NVTI National Accreditation Certificate, but I want to know if they can use that means so that they can just get the English proficiency from the institution, stating, as you said, they've been taught in English, and attach and apply with it. Thank you.
When you say a vocational institute, okay, I get what you mean. No.
Okay, so it's a national training and vocation. It's a combination of certificates. It's not only for vocational. There's a vocational aspect. And there's the other aspect.
It's the same thing we have in Nigeria. It's a certification called NAPTEP. We have in Nigeria that has similar characteristics
exactly.
to what you're mentioning. No, those ones would not be. Those ones would not be honored. They would have to have take one of the recognized English equivalent requirements. Or we also have our own internal English test in Oxford. It's called the Oxford EALT. It's a language test. It's very cheap. It's done online, 5 days. You get your results. You can take the whole test in a day or two, depending on how.
Okay, so can we get a link? Of course, certainly.
Research
some of these. There are other
we can always provide
so you can get a particular
EALT. Yeah, so they can take advantage of that as well.
Come again on that. The network, I didn't get that.
Okay, I said, yeah, definitely. I'll share the link to the Oxford EALT test, so you can take advantage of that for anybody that doesn't have an English qualification, and they can do the exam in 5 days. They get their result, and they can use it to apply to us.
All right. Okay, that's wonderful. Thank you very much.
Just quickly, the home care in Ghana. I don't know if our representative, Mr. Manti, knows you, or he made contact with you, or he was the person who invited you here. But there's more support that we can give for many of us are either in Nigeria or in the UK. But Mr. Manti, who is also here on the webinar, if he has not made contact with you, I will ask him to make contact with you now, and then he will be able to support you more with those students that you say you have. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Right.
He's one of my good friends at church, so I'll get in touch with him.
That's fine. That's right.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Victor. You can continue.
Okay. Are there any other questions?
Yeah, Edith is want to ask her question. Edith Eguatu. You can unmute yourself and ask your question, Edith.
My question is, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good afternoon.
Good
my
afternoon.
question is, based on the registration, I think you said 1,000 Canadian dollar.
Yeah.
That's for registration. Okay, then after the registration, for one to be able to pay in the 20,000 Canadian dollar, is it as a stretch or in instrumental payment?
That's actually a very good. That's actually a very good question. Edit. So there are 2 installments to make this payment. The first installment will be before you leave for Canada. So before you leave for Canada, you have to make 50% of that 20,000, which is 10,000 Canadian dollars. And then the remaining 10,000 Canadian dollars will be paid halfway into the program. So halfway to the course, 4 or 5 months into the course, you would pay the remaining 10,000 Canadian dollars. So those are the 2 installments that are available for this program.
Okay. And secondly, all through this program, after the registration and after the first payment of the 50%, then the person moved on to the Canada to continue the course, or still in Nigeria to continue the course?
No, definitely your course is going to be done in Canada. So the only thing you're doing in Nigeria is just getting your visa. The course is definitely happening in Halifax, Nova Scotia. So Halifax, Nova Scotia, we have a college here where you'll be undergoing the program that prepares you for the job opportunity. Actually, what we're actually selling is not even this certificate program. Like I usually tell people, what we are selling is a job opportunity that you're going to get at the end of the day. The certificate is just a means to an end. You have to have the certificate for you to undertake these job opportunities and these vacancies that are available in the province. So you'll be in the province, learning there, getting qualified there, and then getting your job opportunity there as well.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Jeremiah Johanna asked a question here saying that can you combine WAEC and NECO complete the 6 credits? I don't know if you mentioned something about 6 credits. Can throw more light.
No, I never mentioned anything about 6 credit. I only said as long as you have a C6. C6 is a pass in English in either WAEC or NECO. So no D, no E, no Fs, just as long as you have a C6. So a credit, or let me use that word, credit in English. So even if you don't have 5 credits or 6 credits and you only have a C in English, that WAEC is what we will need. You may not have, you may fail every other subject on your WAEC or on your NECO. As long as you pass English, you're good to go. So we're just after the English on the WAEC, not any other subject you have.
Okay, I think we don't have any other question again. You can.
Please let me touch on this. Thank you again. For if C6 for WAEC for the English with the going to link, what is their minimum band? I know for IELTS the minimum to work is at least 5.0. For the Oxford, what will be the minimum for this care program?
4.5.
4.5. Okay. All right. And also for first timers, for example, the ladies I'll be sending them to, does it come with instruction on how to go about it to be able to pass, since you are saying you can get it done in 5 days? If you can touch on it a little bit to get clarity.
Oh yeah, sure. It's a full comprehensive website that you can have access to practice materials on the portal for them to actually practice for the test and undertake the test. So they can have access to those practice materials as well for them to get ready. Everything is virtually online. You know, the reading, the writing, the listening are all done online. The only thing that the student would have to do is once they are done, because the way it works is when you finish a particular test, a particular band of the test, the next one opens up for you, and before you, the next one opens up for you. So once the student is done with the reading, writing, and listening, they would have to now book a session for their speaking test with one of our Oxford language instructors. And then once they book at any time of their choice, so depending on pardon me, depending on when they want to do the speaking test. So once they're done with the speaking test, the exam is finished and the result comes out in 5 days.
Okay, that's lovely. Thank you very much.
All right.
Can I just also quickly add?
From the chat box here, we have someone who is asking about the temperature of the place, and the other person is saying of a quick summary. Yeah, good news, a quick summary will be done for you on that before he finish. If you can say something about the temperature and the point of payment.
Yeah, but wait, I think Jude, I wanted to just, the other man was talking about the preparation for the IELTS. And we in Community Trust, we are starting classes very soon. So if you have people who want to sit for the English test and they need a bit of support, then again, contact us, because we are going to start running classes for people who want to sit English test. Okay.
All right, sir, please drop your details and we will take it up. Thank you.
Yeah, Emmanuel, again, Mr. Manti, we'll give you our details. He's our,
All right, sir.
in the,
All right, sir.
yeah, he will share those details with you. Like I said,
Thank you.
that applies to everyone. That again, we run courses in the healthcare sector. So if, just like Victor mentioned, if you don't have any experience in the healthcare and you are not, and you think you might not be able to pass the interview or you're not convinced about it, then come for one of our courses. We run courses like care certificate, and the care certificate is introduction into the healthcare sector. I live in the UK, so it will be very similar between the UK. The care certificate is a qualification here in the UK, but it's very similar to what is obtainable in Canada. So if you attend that course, I'm sure you would have a very high chance of passing the interview if Oxford International decides to do that interview with you. Okay. Thank you. Sorry, Victor, I keep chipping in.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I mean, it's actually a very perfect option you provided there for them, because a lot of people are always looking for support for how to, scale to the interview, understand what care is and having introduction into care. So I think it's a fantastic idea you have. If everyone can undertake that introduction to care, it will give you a perfect idea of what you're going into, and also prepare you to be able to, answer questions that has to do with or relates to care and how you're going to be functioning in care. So I think it's a good idea. It's a good initiative as well. Okay. So no further questions. So should I talk about Vancouver now?
No, there is some questions here from the chat box.
Okay.
The one coming from Jeremiah, and the question from Jeremiah is also in line with what Obi is asking. They're asking if they can work while studying as well, and Abby included if she can come with her dependents. Then good news is asking for a summary.
Yes, so certainly students can work. A student has 20 hours a week to work. It's a standard anywhere in the world. And the classes only run for 4 days a week, 8 to 4 p.m. every single day. So students have almost 3 extra days to undertake any job opportunity that they want. But please bear in mind that those job opportunities should not also deter your success on this program as well. And in terms of family joining, of course, family members can join their loved ones on this program. The only thing we would advise is that please do not apply for visa applications together at the same time with your family members. Always allow the main applicants get the visa first, and then you can apply, because once you apply together, you might be denied the visa on family sides. That is a very common visa refusal reason from the IRCC. So I will advise, allow the main applicants get their visa first, and then the family members can join afterwards. And then for the question about temperature in Halifax, well, depending on how you want to look at it, sometimes it could fall down to 14 degrees Celsius, sometimes less than that, sometimes higher than that. What I would say is that it's not that cold, depending on your depending on how you look at it. But you know, at the end of the day, people cope and you know, they go about their daily activities, so it's not really a problem.
Okay, that's all for now. I think you can continue with the Vancouver program.
Okay, perfect. So in Vancouver, remember towards the end of my when I was talking about Halifax, I mentioned the fact that our programs are carefully selected to meet a certain requirements of a particular province at a particular time. So in Vancouver, British Columbia, Vancouver is the capital of British Columbia, and British Columbia is another province in Canada. And British Columbia is a much bigger province than Nova Scotia, and Vancouver is a much bigger city than Halifax. So Vancouver is a typical Lagos with the high-rise buildings and, you know, all the attributes that that is accorded to it. But in Vancouver, there is a thriving hospitality management industry, and which we are also trying to get people to key into as well. So that is why in our Vancouver College, we have the hospitality management diploma. Now the diploma is for 2 years. Inside that 2 years, it has 1 year of learning with our college. So you do 1 year learning with our college, and you do 1 year of co-op work experience in any of our key industry partners in British Columbia or anywhere else you want to do your internship in. Now, we are not choosing, unlike Halifax, we are not choosing where you will do your 1 year co-op. You can decide to do it in any field in hospitality or in anywhere you want to do it to. Because once you're done with the 1 year with us, you're almost free from our college, and you can undertake your 1 year co-op. The reason why we included this 1 year work placement to this 1 year learning process is so that you can have 2 years in Canada. Now, 2 years in Canada can give you a lot of options for a PR option. So once you finish your 2 years, you can either get a job in hospitality industry and get your work permit just the way we have for Halifax. That's one. Secondly, you can apply for what we call the Canadian Experience Class. A Canadian Experience Class is a PR opportunity that requires you to have 1 year work experience inside of Canada. So if you have 1 year work experience inside of Canada, you can apply for the Canadian Experience Class and you get your PR. Thirdly, you can apply for your postgraduate work permit. So for the champions of PGWP, postgraduate work permit, that always asks, oh, can I get a postgraduate work permit? Yes, with 2 years, you can get a postgraduate work permit. Fourth opportunity is that you can apply for the Federal Skilled Worker Program. So the Federal Skilled Worker Program allows you to apply for a PR to be a hospitality expert in any of the provinces, in any of the cities in Canada. And lastly, you can also apply for the British Columbia nominee program as well, because hospitality is also one of the shortage of skilled workforce we have in the province. Now, the application process is the same. The only difference between our Vancouver program and our Halifax program is that we are not directly involved in your transition in getting a job in Vancouver the way we are in Halifax. So in Vancouver, once you're done with the 1 year with us, you get your work. We help you get your work 1 year internship. Once you get your 1 year internship, the onus is now on you to decide to take any of these 5 opportunities that are available to you for you to stay permanently in Canada. We have the best thing we have done is to help you with 2 years in Canada, and which gives you a wide variety of opportunities as well. Now, the application process is similar to that of Halifax. You apply to us, you get a conditional offer. The only difference is Vancouver does not have any interview. So there are no interviews for hospitality management. Once you get your offer, you pay your application fee In this case, application fee is 350 Canadian dollars, as against the 1,000 for Halifax. So you pay just 350 Canadian dollars application fee, and as soon as you pay that, you get your LOA straight away, or letter of admission or acceptance, and you apply for your visa and get your visa, and then go to Vancouver. We have a class starting every single month of the year in Vancouver. So we always have a class rolling in, because reason why we don't do intakes in Vancouver is because we don't want to buy into any second of your 2 years. So once you have 2 years, you have 2 years. So if you get your visa this month, by next month, you should be in British Columbia undertaking your hospitality management class, and then begin your 2 years journey from there. The cost of this hospitality management is cheaper than the one of Halifax. Is 15,500 for the 2 years. And yeah, and the age requirement here is people as young as 19 can take advantage of this opportunity. Yeah, so there are lots of options available for the Vancouver program as well. Yeah, I think once you get your letter of acceptance, visa application process is the same. You can, contact Community Trust Network to give you all the visa guidance and support that you need to undertake this program, and always ensure as well that you apply for your study permit and your co-op work permit when making your visa application, because you're going to need these two things. So there is a study permit, there is a co-op work permit. The co-op work permit is applied during the visa application. It's just a line of sentence during the visa application that says, is co-op a critical part of the course you're about to undertake? The answer is yes. And in the upload section, you upload your LOA that carries details of the co-op. Once you get your study permit, you arrive in Canada, the immigration consultant will scan your visa and give you two permits. Will give you a study permit, to give you a co-op work permit, which one will allow you to undertake your study, the other one will allow you to undertake your work experience as well. Yes. So that's just a brief explanation of our Vancouver program, or our hospitality management diploma program in Vancouver, and in comparison to that in Halifax. So yeah, if there are any questions about that, please feel free.
Thank you, Mr. Victor. Indeed, the Vancouver program is a nice one, and it's good. But we have a question from here, Edward A. It's talking about any visa support or document to back visa application. Of course, we'll guide you on that, Edward. After you get your offer, be the one to make your visa application, and we'll also support you. Provide all the document tell you the document you need, and you provide them for us. Jeremiah Johanna is asking, is there a need for proof of fund? Mr. Victor, if you can take that.
Of course, there's a need for proof of funds for any visa process you undertake. Definitely, there's a huge need for proof of funds for both the Halifax and the Vancouver program. You should be looking at having at least 17 million naira in your bank account that would pull you through the visa application process. So at least 17 million naira would cover your tuition fee and your living expense while you're studying in Canada. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that. Edith, if you can unmute yourself and answer, followed by the home care.
My question is, in Vancouver, after the 2 years course and after the 2 years permit, can one switch to another?
Yeah, so Vancouver, once you're done with the 2 years, of course, you're free. You're not you can switch to anything you want to, certainly.
Okay. Please, these both the Vancouver and the other one that was talked about, the visa processing, are you guys helping one to process the visa, or one has to do it by themselves?
Yeah, that's what you just mentioned. That community trust, the organizers of this webinar, they are our partners in Nigeria, and they will help you with the visa application process, the guidance, and how to go about everything. So you just need to reach out to them after this webinar for more details on how to proceed with the application.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. I think
Yeah.
here, Ghana, you wanted to ask a question
Yes.
before chat.
Manuel. Yeah, so thank you very much for the submission for the British Columbia. I think I had two questions. The first one, the lady has asked, which is once you are done, can you switch to something different or probably do a better study in a different area? To everything, there is a strategy. Maybe you would want to enter Canada, maybe to do a specific training. I think this will help me. I'm a psychologist, but I want to enter. Once you come with this route and later you want to do something different, if it's possible. Now, the second question has to do with one may not have enough funds at the moment to push it, but will be interested. A typical example, I have two sponsors who can push me in it, but for a letter to show them or a cover letter to show that, oh, I have this opportunity and I want you to push it for me or sponsor it. Is it possible, and how best can we take it up? And what's the next intake? You did say every month, but as it stands, what's the next intake? Is it this month or next month? Thank you.
I believe your question is for British Columbia, the Vancouver.
Yes, British Columbia.
Yeah, I mean, the next intake is next month.
Okay.
So there's always an intake every month. And in terms of the letter, I think once you make an application to us is free. So once you apply to us through Community Trust, I'm sure you get a conditional offer first before you proceed to pay your application fee. You first of all get a conditional offer that'll be issued to you. So I'm sure you can use that to convince your sponsors. But also in the area of sponsors as well, I would need to warn a little bit that we will need to be careful about the people we bring in as sponsors, because sometimes the embassy tend to, looking critically into those things as well. It's easier to defend when a family member or a relation is a sponsor to you than when someone that is not related to you at all is sponsoring you. So there are two things I always warn about: bringing external people to be sponsors, and also people using company accounts to sponsor. Because the way they think in the Western world and the way we think in Africa, sometimes there are differences. There might be similarities, there are differences. If a man owns a company in Africa, the whole money and everything in the company belongs to the man. So he sees it as its own. But in the Western world, if a man owns a company, he doesn't own everything in that company. He pays himself. And whatever he pays himself is his own. So the company is run effectively, unlike what we practice here. So sometimes when someone issues you with a company statement, in his mind, it might be like, oh, it's my money, so it's my company. So the consular should know that the money, but the consular doesn't think like that. In the consular's mind, that is not any proof of funds at all. That's why you see a lot of people get rejected for financial grounds, and if you get the GDNS notes for those rejections and you go through it, you'll see the consular will write it there, no proof of funds was submitted, because it's assumed that the money in the company account statement does not belong to anyone, because there is, as far as the consular is concerned, there is no money there at all. So yeah, so we should definitely be guided on that. And also an external person. If my father is sponsoring me or my mother is sponsoring me, there is a sentimental reason behind it. There's a sentimental benefit as well behind it. But if an external person is sponsoring me, I have to justify that sponsorship beyond reasonable doubt, because the biggest question in that would be, why you? There are 1.6 billion people in this world. Why would it be you that would be selected, for this person to risk his finances to sponsor you? So if that question gets asked when reviewing your application, there has to be enough justifying reason to declare why that person is sponsoring you in particular, And yeah, so these are the things I feel I should just mention for all of us to just take note as well.
All right, thank you very much. That's brilliant.
Just in addition, thank you, Victor, for explaining that. In addition, just as Victor mentioned, when a company's money is not owned by the director, a company is seen as a separate entity. And some of these things, I think we learned them in school when if you did economics in school or business studies in school, they did tell us to say an organization, especially a limited liability company, is a separate entity. So it's not really owned by the director of the company. Okay, which means that money in a limited liability company is not all the money of the director, which also means that when a limited liability company owns debt, those debts are not immediately passed on to the director of the company. The second one is of course, Victor mentioned, why would somebody sponsor you? So for people who are really serious about this, I would say there are two ways. Is either you get the money to be in your parents' account, or the money is in your account. For a wife and a husband, the suggestion would be have a joint account so that the two names are there. But just saying that, there must be something that would link both parties rather than just putting any bank statement there. Again, don't forget that most embassies are already wary of us, that all we just want to do, according to the Nigerians who say we want to jackpot, if I'm correct about it. So you have to give them enough evidence, enough proof that yes, you are genuine and you really want to go to this place for the purpose that it is set out, which again means that for us in Community Trust, before you would have your interviews, we would do a pre-interview with you, we will train you, we will speak to you, we will sort of give you a guide of the sort of questions that are likely to be asked during that interview. Even for your visa, we train you, we support you, such that if they do ask you, you will give them the right answer they are looking for. Okay? Thank you, Victor. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have Charles. Charles, if you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Isaac, and thank you, Mr. Victor. I want to ask question based on the subject you just discussed, the proof of funds. Like Victor, you mentioned that for an individual, you need a minimum of 17 million to be in your account. But the information I gathered before now mentions that at least 10 million, 10.5 will do for one. So I don't know which one is if actually that was correct, or is this 17 million can you think of that?
Okay. When you said information you gathered, is that from where precisely?
No, from Trust Fund. I think Mr. Isaac or Mr. Jude himself can.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, there is a reason why I said 70 million, because ideally, if you look at the calculations for the tuition fee and the living expense, yeah, 10 million seems fine. If you look at the calculations and the equivalent. But we have had people rejected with that amount before. We've had people rejected that have 10 to 15 million. So we started to question, okay, should they have a little bit more money in the account? And when we started experimenting with 17 million, we saw a lot more visa success. So when they reapplied and they had 17 million, they were granted visa. So because of that, we decided to just put 15 and 17 million as a benchmark. It's not, yes, they are right that 10 million should be ideal, but without own personal experience, we just feel that, okay, if people can have a bit more, and this could also be in other things, in assets, in trust funds, in investment certificates, and what have you. So there has to be more than enough reasonable financial backing. But in the absence of not having an asset declaration certificate, not having investment certificates, not having trust funds, not having other financial ties to show, I think enough money is something that we should look into having.
Thank you for your response, actually. Now that you said that having money in your account will make it easier. So what about these opposed already started? We have this 10 and or 10.5 in account. Does it mean that we don't have just the funds? But that's what to be reliable in fund, and that's what I work with. The reason I even joined in here is that I was told that I'm going to be undergoing a training on how to answer some questions like one of you mentioned, how to answer their questions when the time comes, because I've applied and just to get a feedback from them, I've not heard from them. So two fly where I came from told me that
you've applied for your visa.
No, I mean the application fee has been paid, but I've not heard from the school.
Okay, because they said you had already had 10 million now, so I wanted to be sure if you applied for your visa.
No, not visa. I have not. I just have to pay myself. That's what I'm saying. Like,
okay, yeah, like I said, you can use other things to boost it up. If you have landed properties, you have estates, you can do an estate survey or estate evaluation on those properties. For one thing that actually really works is when you do an estate evaluation. For instance, if you have a landed property and you bought that land for 2 million naira 5 years ago. Now, one mistake a lot of people used to make is that they'll carry the deed of the land and include in the application. Now, don't forget the deed carries 2 million naira, right? Now, it's possible that that land is currently costing around 10 million naira. And a lot of people carry the deed. So I usually encourage people that you can do an evaluation of that property for its current value, and use that evaluation certificate to include in your application. So which means there is a 10 million naira worth of landed property that you have in addition to your financial statement as well. That is, yeah.
In a situation where you don't have this property, what then do you do?
But you can now look into boosting your bank statement. Then you can definitely look into boosting it to increase the value of all these things. Is not like you must have it, but we are looking for ways to show better financial capacity. And so it's best if there is a way you can show a better financial capacity, you should go ahead and do that.
Thank you.
Right.
Please, for the hospitality, what is the entry requirement? Thank you.
It's the same WAEC. Both of them are same WAEC.
Okay, we have a question from the chat box again, saying, where can I work with this hospitality certificate? That's when we finish. Where can she work? And Jeremiah is asking, can pension serve as one? Maybe if Jeremiah, if you can explain your question more.
Okay, yeah, fine. So we are talking about the proof of fund, and he's talking about some other sources of finance. So I was trying to really ask if, okay, so your pension statement can really serve as one. So thank you, Nova.
Yeah, of course, it can be an additional financial document, but it should not be the main financial document. It can be an additional financial document. And for the second question about where you work, I earlier explained that students that graduate from the CCA program have guaranteed employment opportunity in the program. So they are guaranteed a job immediately they get their certification. So they don't even need to look for where they can work with the care certificate. The care certificate is a universal care certificate that you can use to work anywhere in Canada, even outside of Nova Scotia province. But then there won't be any need for you to look for a job because we already have a guaranteed employment scheme available for people to take advantage of. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. I said, Jeremiah, Johanna, if you can elaborate on your question. You asked about, can pension serve as one? Okay, I serve as for fund. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I've answered him. Yeah, he has expanded on it.
Okay, that's fine. If you have any other question, please, can you send? Good News is asking, is there a payment plan for this course?
Yeah, so there are two installment payments, 50% on each installment. First 50% has to be done before you leave Nigeria. The other 50% is halfway through the program.
Thank you for that information, Mr. Victor. It's been good having you and your explanation. We are happy to hear that from you. Educate us more on the program. Like, before I proceed to welcome our COE, Mr. CEO, Mr. Isaac Ukelege, I just want to, just to say something that if you can pick out something good from what Mr. Victor has been saying, that this is a well-planned, controlled immigration plan. If you want to, thinking about going to Canada, are they following the hospitality program or the CCA program is a good one for you. And we at Community Trust Network will support you. We will assist you to make sure that the process of you getting to Canada or even to UK to study will assist you that. And also the
your voice is fluctuating. We are not getting what you are saying very well.
Please, so your network is a bit of a problem. Can you check?
About that? Okay, sorry about that. Can you hear me well now?
Better.
Okay, that's fine. So I'll just say that from what Mr. Victor has been saying all through, that this is a well-planned and controlled immigration program. For you to, if you're thinking of going to Canada, of course, Community Trust Network, we will assist you. We will support you. We will guide you. We will train you with the interview trainings. Don't be afraid. Of course, we've been doing this and we'll do it continuously to help all of you who are interested, who wants to go to Canada to study. If you are thinking about going to the UK or Ireland as well, we do that to support you. And still speaking more on those of you who don't have experience for the care program, we do the care training here with Community Trust Network. We do the care certificate and also the diploma in adult care. CTN does that as well. After this program, we have your emails. Those of you who registered on the program, we have your emails. Of course, we'll be sending you a informations about how you can talk to us, how you can communicate to us. We are also live on the Facebook, and our Facebook name is Community Trust Network NG. You can touch us from there and we'll respond to you. Both on Instagram, you can chat us there, Community Trust Network, of course. You will find us and we will come back to you. Before I welcome Mr. Isaac, I think Edith is asking a question here. Do you make payments after the interview or before? And if visa is not issued, is there a refund? Okay. Mr. Victor, if you can attend to that, please.
Sorry, come again with the question.
So do you make payments after interview or before? Then if your visa is refused, will there be a refund? I think that's what she's trying to ask.
Okay, so once students scale through their interview, because of the nature of the CBN Form A system currently in Nigeria, because currently I'm hearing it's taking 3 to 4 months now for payment to go through, and we all agree, and I'm speaking for Nigeria in particular, and we all agree that the CBN is the cheapest way of making these payments that wouldn't overburden clients. It is necessary that students start making their payments immediately, so that by the time their visa will be out, the payments would have gotten to the college and before resumption, unless they want to opt for the other option of using either the flywire to make the payments or the black market rate as well. And also in terms of refund, the 1,000 Canadian dollars that is paid in the event of a visa refusal or failing the interview, 650 Canadian dollars is refundable. Now, any other money you pay on top of that is 100% refundable. So if you pay us an extra 5 or 10,000, that 10,000 is 100% refundable. But for the 1,000 application fee, just like Vancouver, Vancouver, we are just asking for 350. But for Halifax, the reason why we ask for 1,000 is because one, it's a care program, it's a very specific skill program, and we expect the serious students to embark on it. So that's why we want people to commit more into it. But in the event of anything, you would get 650 Canadian dollars refunded back to you. So you're only paying 350 Canadian dollars as application fee. But any other money you pay on top of that towards your main tuition fee is 100% refundable. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Victor, for throwing more light on that. So as I was saying about the care training, don't be afraid. Anywhere you are, you're from Ghana, Nigeria, any states, we do our training online via Zoom. And after the training, the training materials will be sent to you, the video all will be sent to you for more of your personal. When you are free, you could play them and still go over the training to understand. Even the IEX, of course, will be starting the class soon. The CTA, the care training classes have started, though we are at week 3 now, I think, yes. We'll still pick you up if you are interested. All information about that will be sent through the emails for everyone who is on this program today. And I think someone is still asking a question, can you come with your family to the Vancouver program? Is your dependent allowed to work as well?
Yeah, both programs, they can come with their family members as well to the program. It's not a problem.
More clarity on that, if you can throw more light, Mr. Victor. The CCA program, you have to wait until you are done with the program before your family can join you, or they apply differently. But the Vancouver, are they going to apply at the same time?
Oh, okay. The Vancouver program, just like the CCA program, they should not apply for the visa at the same time. They should wait for the main applicant to get the visa first before they can apply for their own visas, to avoid them being denied because of family ties. So it's similar situation for both programs as well.
Okay, thank you. The Home Care Ghana, you're asking of the requirement for hospitality program. I think you mentioned that WAEC is, if you have your WAEC, your WASI, you can also apply for it. Then you are asking of salary for both hospitality and care. Mr. Victor, can you say something on that?
Sorry, come again.
Said he's asking for salary for both the hospitality and care work. What's the salary range?
Okay, what they will earn when they are done.
Yeah, I think
I
think that's what he should ask. He's asking.
Okay. For hospitality, they will earn between 45 to 55,000 a year, dollars. So between 45 to 55,000 dollars a year, working as care assistant. For hospitality, that figure can go up to 60, 70,000 a year, depending on the hospitality organization they are working for.
Okay, thank you. First Pray, can you ask your question, please? Your hand, you raising your hand.
God bless you, sir.
Bless you too, you're welcome.
Please, I'm just joining the meeting now. So I don't really know how it was started. I want to know the foundation of the meeting. So I know the meeting is all about studying work in Canada, right? Am I right?
Yes, you are right.
Yeah. So my question is that why I joined the meeting is to have a orientation of what to do and how to start it.
I would say first pray. What would happen is that we started at 1 o'clock, which is about an hour and a half before now. We would, what we have done, we've recorded the program. So my team would send you a recording of it. In addition to that, my team will make contact with you right now, and then they will collect your email address as well as your phone number, and they will do a one-to-one discussion with you. They'll tell you all the things that you need, all the document that you need, the process, if you are interested in starting. But unfortunately, I don't think Victor will be able to go through all he has said in the last 1.5 hours.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, just to speak more on that again, you are the event today is live streamed on Facebook, Community Trust Network NG. So you can as well visit our site on Facebook, Community Trust Network NG, and you will see this video training. And after the training, we'll also send the videos to all of you via mail to watch, and also just a recap on all. We still have more questions coming in here. I don't know, Mr. Victor, if you have the time, but I don't know if you have the time to still answer them.
Yeah, sure, Jude. I think I have a few more minutes.
Okay, thank you. Joy Abo is asking, is there a direct job after the study, and what amount needs totally to start? Yes.
Yeah, I think you already answered that like 3 times now. Yeah, they have guaranteed employment opportunities after the program for the CCA, and they can earn between $45,000 to $55,000 a year.
Yes, the age limit, I think good news, we talked about that before now. We said age limit for the CCA program in Canada, that is the Continuous Care Assistant Program in Canada, is from 20 to 45. That's for the CCA. Why that in Vancouver, the hospitality is 19 years to 45 years. The home care is asking for the Oxford IEL link. Of course, we speak to you after the program. The Home Care Ghana will speak to you, and that will send to you. Of course, we'll talk more with you after the program. Is there any program respected? Talk about the UK. Okay, talk about this later after the program. Okay. Okay, Joy Abo, after the program, we will communicate to you on your questions. Thank you. So I think there's no more question again. Mr. Isaac, if you can take the floor now.
Okay, thank you very much to you, Jude and Victor. Thank you for the very knowledgeable, very well detailed presentation. We look forward to working more with you in Oxford International. And I'm sure things that we will do will benefit both organizations. But thank you for making up time on a Saturday to come and speak to everyone here. Just
always a pleasure, sir.
Yes, thank you, Victor. Thank you. And yes, I do know that some of you have more questions. In truth, if we want to exhaust all the questions, we probably will not leave here today. But it is a Saturday, so we appreciate that some of you would have other private things that you would like to do. So I would suggest, Jude, please put our Jude, Ezekiel, or Samuel, please put our contact details out there. I think somebody did ask a question that I wanted to see the Facebook link. So if you can put that out, then people can reach us. At the same time, they can watch it on Facebook, or they could get a recording of it later.
Yes, that has been taken care of, sir.
Yes, and I think for everybody who attended the event would have registered for this event, which we would then send out a follow-up email to reach out to you. Be sure that we want you to succeed. We want you to be able to make it. So if it is your wish, if it's your desire to study outside the shores of Africa, and in this particular case, we're talking about Canada. If you do want to go to Canada, then make contact with the team, and the team will try and support you as much as possible. Okay. Any questions that you have, so from the questions of making up that decision, up to the point of getting the admission to getting your visa, I'm sure my team in Nigeria or in Ghana will be able to answer. But quickly said, also, we are making more contact in Canada. So there will be a time where, in addition to the Oxford International, we would also have other link in Canada. So when you get to Canada, just as we have link in the UK, we'll have link in Canada for someone to receive you, for people to support you in trying to get you to acclimatize and settle down in Canada. If you've traveled outside your country before, even outside your state, if you imagine that you live in Abuja, you live in Delta State, or Warri, or Lagos, for example, or Accra, and you are going to move to a new town, it is difficult. Even within the same country that you are, not to talk of moving from one continent to another. So as much as the aspiration and the joy of moving abroad, that to Canada, to the US, to the UK, as much as that the aspiration and the joy and the anxiety is very high, but we must also appreciate the fact that it is a huge responsibility, because you are going to a new country where the way they behave is completely different from the way that is done in your particular country. But with the support of us, CTN, then we'll make that journey less tedious. So we would support you so that you understand the journey that you are going into, the things that you should expect, how you should prepare for that journey. And then so that your landing, when you arrive there, the landing will not be as difficult as it will be without support. I must also tell you that given our network, and network means that we have people who live in these different countries, we can share experiences with you, the sort of life that is lived there. So just today, I spoke to a friend in Canada, and I was able to get some very practical suggestions on if you are going to go to Canada, the sort of life that you will live, what you need to expect. And we will use that information to be able to formulate our services to you. and how we support you. So be sure that you are in safe hand if you do come to us. We are doing everything possible to make sure that we are not just giving you the admission or getting you the visa. We are looking at what extra services that we could provide to make it good. So like I mentioned before, is that we are introducing extra classes. So the extra classes are in English, which is the IELTS English. We're going to start doing that to provide you with that sort of training so that if you are going to sit that examination, then you are well prepared, you are well grounded, and you can pass the exam at the very first intake rather than failing it and then coming back to redo it. In addition to that, we will do the care certificates, which again I mentioned. The care certificate is a program that we've designed and is a 4-week program. So again, it prepares you for what you need to know, what the life of a caregiver, the sort of things that they expect you to know. Again, this will be good for you because when you go for your interview, then you can answer any of the questions that you are asked without problems. And then you'll be able to share that. You know what you're expecting. But also, apart from those 2 classes that we run, if you'd come to us for any of your program, any of the routes that to UK, Canada, US, is that we prepare you for the visa. In case of visa interview, or what they call, sometimes they call them the precast interview, or before they give you the paper to go for your visa. So we would prepare you. Our student counselors are grounded in what each countries need you to know. So if you go to Canada, for example, sort of questions that they would ask you before issuing that visa, we will grind you, we will train you for that so that your interview, again, will go as smoothly as possible. So in summary, what will I say is that be sure that if you come to CTN, Community Trust Network, we would ensure that your success is our success. And remember, all of you, so today I've been counting, and on the average at a time, we're about 40 of us here. To be able to do that, imagine if of that 40 of us who came in, imagine if 30 of you can refer 2 people each to our service. That means that in no time we will have 90 people. And imagine if those 90 people could refer 2 people to us. You do the sum and tell me what number it will be. Of course, they also tell you that one of the best way to do marketing is referral, isn't it? The word of mouth. So we really depend on you to be able to spread out how good we are as an organization. And to be able to do that, that means that we must impress you first. We must be able to provide a service that meets your needs. Because once we can provide a service that meets your needs, then without even asking you, you will become an ambassador to us. You will spread the good news about us. But also, something that we are introducing is that for every referral that you give to us, every successful referral that you give to us, we'll give you a token. We'll give you a thank you token. So think about it, which means that apart from helping you to achieve the dreams that you're having, we would also give you something back to say, thank you for helping us to achieve the dream. It's going to be a win-win situation. From a personal view, I must share with you that the life in any Western country, whether Canada, US, Canada, or the UK, is not as easy like it looks like. Okay, I live in the UK, and I could tell you that life here, it is brilliant, it is cold, it is quiet, but you know, it is not for the faint-hearted people. So you must also struggle. You must also work hard. And you know, with us, we would not only bring you here, we would also tell you or show you things that you need to do to be able to move up the ladder. So I think I've heard somebody talking about, so what are the prospects? So whether you come for the Vancouver program or you come for the Halifax program, so whether you come from the hospitality program or you come for the care program, that is just the starting point of your journey in Canada. It is not the end of your journey, which means that if you stay close to us, we would always tell you about other courses that we provide. So we do management courses, and we want you to be able to make progress in your life so that 5 years from now, 10 years from now, you could look back and say, it was good that you made that decision. It was good that you made the journey, and it was good that you choose us, Community Trust Network, to work with you. Our dream, like I said before, is to make success of everyone who touch us. And so your success story will become our success story as we go on the journey. So any question that you would have, please do ask us, and I'm sure we will be able to answer it. The contact details, I'll just share the contact details on the screen. So that's our contact details. If you any of those numbers, you could reach us. The first one is the UK number. Then we have the Nigerian numbers, and then we have the Ghana number. Of course, we also have our website. We have 2 websites, and then we have our email address as well. Of course, each individual student counselor have their email that they could also use. But generally, either when you go on our website or when you send message to any of those numbers, somebody will be able to reach out to you. Of course, Jude manages our communication, so he's very familiar with the Facebook, the Instagram, and any of those social media handles. So we are there. We would always be on hand to try and support you as much as possible. There's more I could say, but I'll probably try and round up. So if you have any specific question, you could ask me before we finish. But again, I will just conclude by saying we from Community Trust, every of us remain very, very grateful for the support that you have given, for giving us that sort of trust that we can help you to achieve the dream of studying outside the shores of Africa. Thank you. Any questions, please?
Thank you, sir, for having to come in, enlighten us more. We have a question here from David Danke. He is also appreciating you, sir. So he's asking if he can find a marine institution in Canada and what's the process around it, because he is very much interested for it. David Danke, of course, after the event today, we will chat you up, we'll write you a mail, or you drop your WhatsApp number or your email here. We'll speak to you more on this to find schools for you in Canada about the Marine Institution. But if we can find, of course, we'll suggest more schools for you that you can look into study. In view of that, you can still take down our contact details here. Any of the contact details here, you write us, or the email address, you send email, we'll respond to you immediately. Or within 24 hours, we'll respond to you. If you have any other question, you can please write your question on the chat box or raise up your hand to ask your question, please. Okay. This is for 46. Be closing the event at 14:50. That is, yeah, 14:50. In 4 minutes time, we're closing the event. So you can start sending your questions before we finally close. Okay, David Danke, thank you. I've seen your contact details. Pick them up and message you soon. Please, if you have any question, you can ask your question. Just to say, bring in a reminder for those of you who still want to go in for the care training program. To remind you, the care training program, we are in the 3rd week now. You can still join us. You can still join us for the, you can still join us for the care program. Of course, the details on the care certificate and the adult diploma in adult care we send to you all, and you'll be informed. From anywhere you are, you can join in for the training, and the training is online, it's on Zoom, and of course, guide you, train you. And also, to that, we will support you with a job search. We will support you on your CV, you know, how to write your CV to stand the test when you're looking for work. Of course, we will do that. And just one more thing I want to remind you all is when looking for job in the UK, more especially, you know, there's something called reference. That reference is very, very important for anyone who is trying to get a job, even here in our country, Nigeria. And I don't know about Ghana, but I think reference is very, very important. Community Trust Network will support you with that. We'll provide reference for you if you do your training with us for the care training. So we'll provide you with that reference and also support you with job search and also how to write your CV. We'll do that for you. Yes. In 2 minutes, the program is going to close. Okay, Charles, you're asking how do you join the training? Okay, of course, after the event, I will contact you. Thank you once again for having time to join us on this event on a Saturday. Yes, thank you. More and more of the training, of the events, the webinars, more of them are coming up. We're doing this, we do this all the time in a month. We do it once in a month, at least, except when we have a physical webinar. Yes, we still run it online for you to join. One minute time, we'll close the event now. Daniel, okay. Okay, I'll pick your contact details here. Thank you for sending through, Daniel. Okay, thank you for attending the webinar. Of course, for everyone who attended the webinar today, we are going to pick your emails and send you this video, part of the video. If you're not able to see this video in your email, please do well to join to search us on the Facebook, Community Trust Network NG on Facebook, and like the page, you will see the video there. Same with the Community Trust Network on Instagram, you will see the video there. Thank you for joining and thank you for coming. We'll do this more. Thank you, everyone. Bye.